We're excited to learn from you, Mr. Chawn.
For sure, for sure.
Checking you out here on LinkedIn. Tayef, you can share his contact information. Media production and strategy. You help monetize your client's business by proven remix process. That's interesting. I'm looking forward to hear about that. Audio video production, marketing and distribution. I mean, what good of it is about producing, but you can't distribute. So that's really good. We get to learn a little bit on both sides. Featured in Fox, NBC, CBS, and is an expert or in the speaking industry, which is really cool. This is awesome. I'm really looking forward to diving in and learning more from you. And Chawn, what we do here is a little different. So I'll just kind of give you a heads up. It's not the typical networking event. This is not a networking event, but everybody's welcome. And I encourage to connect with each other. And so in the chat box, drop your information, but we're not going to do a little pitch fest here. We're really here to learn from each other, ignite new connections and deepen existing ones. Your strongest hour, it started as a mastermind. We're moving towards more of an experience in a show, making it a little less structured and very flexible depending on the guest speaker. So that being said, we're gonna hear from all of us. We usually open up with a win. And I'm gonna go ahead and get started with off the cuff win for me in the area of creativity, or the artistical element. Where in my life have I been using my creative outlets? And most recently, I've been keeping a log. I teach and I share and I recommend what's called scripting. First thing in the morning, we start out with a fresh canvas, blank canvas. And we get to color our day with whatever we want to accomplish in our day. So I used to just think about my day and what I wanted to accomplish and visualize it. But I feel like it's gotten more real and when I write it out. So I start out with, I am such and such. I will do this. This is what's going to happen today in my day. I'm going to meet Chawn today and have an amazing session with him and everybody else in this room, whatever it may be. So there is a level of creativity in that. First thing in the morning, nothing is in my brain. I've not been distracted. I don't pick up my phone. I go right into my writing. And I find that's one of the best places to be creative. So I'm going to pick the next person to share about how they're kind of creative or artistical, whether you draw, create music, it doesn't matter. I'm going to start out with Selena. Share with us a win for you in the artistic element.
So Selena, Office Mercenary. My win in the artistic element, honestly, I'm in the middle. I'm getting ready to just completely reorganize my office, which in a lot of ways feels very artistic because it's okay. I need to rearrange this, and I'm actually going to put things up on the walls. Like right now, I've got kind of that there, and I've got a fat unicorn that is here to distress you over in my other corner. It's pink, it's adorable, it's insane. But I need to flesh everything out, and it's great because part of it is I'm going to go back and I'm going to frame more art, which I used to be a framer. And so getting to play with all the colors and stuff like that is always really fun to kind of go back to for a little bit.
Yeah, thank you, Selena. I noticed when I purge my home and I listen to the magic art of tidying up, really kind of cleanses my space and it leaves room for more creativity. Thank you, Selena. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and go with Aste. Is that how you pronounce your name?
For me, Asta?
Asta.
Asta.
Ask
yes.
Asta.
Thank you. Ask
our
Asta.
Dating coach.
Yes. So thank you. So creativity. I think I had lost that component, and that is a big part that was missing. Probably lost it 20 years ago because you begin life's routine and business, and that kind of fades away. So I was starting to use other people's artwork, cards, photos, gifts, and I thought, wait a minute. People were like, why don't you use your own or start doing that again? So I just purchased some beginner art stuff, canvases, pencils, some of the tech world, and I'm going to try to do that again. So that's where I need accountability because I don't want it to slide away again. So thanks for asking.
There are a number of coaches in here that will hold you accountable to that. I am curious of how you get creative in the dating scene.
Right.
I think we got a couple single people in here, so maybe we can hear a little about that later. All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Angelina, share with us a win in regards to the artistic element.
I would have to say that I had some wins with scripting as well.
Nice.
I love scripting, and I just kind of see how it brings things into physical existence.
Awesome. Like that. Thank you so much, Angelina, for sharing that. Renita, share with us an artistic win for you recently.
I think for me, this last week or so, the artistic win is building out the course curriculum online on the page and just starting to get much clearer about what it is I actually do and how I do it. So I've actually really enjoyed that process.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And Chawn, just by the way, you'll get to share too. So don't worry. I know you're not sitting there quiet, patiently. Appreciate it. I wanted you to hear the audience.
I'm getting inspired.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Beth, if you're not on a call with one of your clients or your boss man, jump in, share with us an artistic win for you. If you're not available, it's okay. We're going to jump to Mr. Troy.
I'm available, but you can jump to Troy if you want.
No, let's hear from you. Tell us how you keep your clients so happy.
So, yes, it's always challenging, but for me, I get to be artistic and creative in creating experiences and arranging experiences on their flights. So, for example, the two today that I have some clients that are flying to the March Madness playoff games. So I'm creating a basketball experience. I know their teams they're rooting for, so I'm getting some team-specific gear on board, along with some fun snacks that are kind of geared towards that whole playoff scene. And then I have other clients that are very high-end, and they are brand new. So they are getting, on the opposite end of the spectrum, a bottle of champagne, a handwritten card, and some chocolate-covered strawberries. So you never know what the day holds in my world.
I want to be your client. Thank you, Beth. All right, Mr. Troy.
Yeah, I've been trying to cook. I'm trying not to go out and eat lunch. I'm trying all right, what's in the refrigerator and the freezer and the cupboard? What can I put together that won't kill my daughter? That's pretty artistic, I think.
Very good. I love it. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate that, buddy. Alyssa, an artistic win for you recently.
Yeah, I was trying to think of this real hard. I think artistic win for me, I've kind of been getting into the sustainability lifestyle, and one of those things that I've been doing is I like to sew. And so I have been playing around with sewing clothing, repairing clothing, and yeah, it's been fun. It's been creative and fun. So it's my win.
Thank you, Alyssa. Appreciate you. Lori, is that how you pronounce it?
I'm right? So sorry to be late. I got sidetracked and this was on a different calendar. Hi, everyone.
No worries. We're sharing a win in regards to the artistic elements. So anything in design, art, storytelling, music, whatever, anything creative, even negotiation, contracts, anything creative. Share with us a win.
A win. Oh, God, I have a lot of that going on.
Hey,
just good. One thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've tapped into such amazing creativity. I'm to the point of manifesting my happiness and joy. I think it's because I live on the coast and I work for an amazing startup company. And so, and I have a lot of creative hobbies. I cook, I sew, I garden. I'm just a nature enthusiast. So it's just a very long list. That's what I have to share. Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. All right, I'm throwing a curveball. You guys know me. I love to throw curveballs. So in the chat box, we've shared wins that we've recently have had. I want you to share a win with one of your clients, something in the creative element, something that you may have created for them you're creative in something that you did for them, maybe a little bit out of the norm, or maybe the norm, and it's a hit. You do it all the time. So in the chat box, what have you done that's very creative for your client in your area of your expertise? So Asta, maybe a new way, new technique to pick up a chick.
About people during the pandemic, yes.
Yes. How do you date during the pandemic?
Wear a
You know,
mask
Troy-
and single. No.
Yeah. For instance, Troy is my LinkedIn guru. He's spent 2 hours and updating my campaign for April 1st. So I'm really looking forward to diving into that. So I know that's taken a lot of creative juices to unfold a new campaign or two. So what wins? Okay, I see Renita, they are launching their book. Very good. So, okay, got it. Chawn speaking album went gold. Nice. Very good. That's a nice win for the client and you as well. Come on. I want to hear from everybody. Got to acknowledge your wins. My marketing videos include creative 3D animation that showcases my clients' value in their technology.
Nice.
This is Angelina. Thank you so much. That's a lot of creative work there. We got copy, we got footage, we got editing, we got technology. That's awesome. Beth, daily for me, experience on aircraft, flowers, covered strawberry covered chocolate. Is that how they call it? Chocolate covered strawberries. Who likes that? Alyssa, kind of creative. More so, I help a client create a series of process maps. That's not kind. That is very creative. Alyssa did a micro map for the flow process for the business. And we start out with one box, and then it turns into like a tree of like a complete flow chart, all sorts of colors and this and that and the other. Are we talking about? What do you mean, kind of? That is very creative, Alyssa. Are you kidding me?
I feel like it's very logical minded though. Like it's not like creative minded. It's just very logical minded. That's why it's like
it may seem logical, like it's a process step by step by step, but when you're done, all that when you look at it, it looks like a beautiful image there. It looks like a beautiful design. We have to show one. If we pop one up on the screen here in a minute, so we can look at it maybe a little later. All right. I know Lori is probably, I think, just on the phone, so she can't access the chat box. Lori, if you want to share verbally, you may for your client.
Yeah, so I'm really good at connecting people and engaging and forming new relationships with people to solve whatever business challenge we have. I think that's really creative for me because I get to meet a lot of new people and understand their strengths and how they can fit into the problem-solving equation. So I find a lot of creative energy in that, like in meeting new people and connecting people and solving problems together.
I love that. That does require some creativity. Lori, because you're new, I'm going to pick on you. Is that okay?
Okay, sure.
I need you to introduce me to somebody.
Okay.
The president.
Who would you like to meet? What do you mean?
The United States president. The U.S. president.
Oh, okay.
I'm just messing with you. I told you I was going to pick on you. So maybe one day.
I think it's possible. I have that attitude, like anything is possible. So let me work on that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Angelina, I received your request. May I share it to publicly? You still there, Angelina? If not, that's okay. Asta, creating personal upgrade VIP experiences using networking resources for individuals for getting back out there in the dating world, positive attitude, makeover, new clothes, fresh outlook. A lot of creativity there. All right, I think we've heard everybody. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. from our lessons from our guest speaker here, Chawn Bracey.
Hey.
Thanks again for joining us. I want to open up with, I like to open up with why. Why do you do what you do? And how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, so I believe I do what I do to put a smile on people's faces and to get them through situations. Because I feel like content is what gets people through situations to and through it. You could be having a great day and you could have a song that you know is like 100% gonna keep that day flowing, or you could be having a bad day and you play a song and it could, you know, turn your day into good. So with speakers, I felt like it was only natural to begin to seek out speakers to work with and for on different things after beginning my multimedia career, as I like to call it, because it's like, you know, audio and video content. Going back to 2012, enrolled in a broadcasting school because I was doing music and just wanted to find a way to get my music on the radio. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to a broadcasting school and the music is gonna be on the radio and everything's gonna blow up. All right. So it didn't really turn out like that because starting at the school, I really developed a passion for it behind the scenes and really creating something from scratch, whether that's an idea and just seeing the idea grow, a piece of paper and just fill up, but then actually going to do that in a video, just going with the blank frame to a completed video or song, just the complete process of that, and just really seeing and developing a real appreciation for that, just going through the different, you know, courses at the school. I just bought a camera and started recruiting my classmates to just like do little skits and stuff. And they just turned into just being motivational, just built the YouTube channel, Motivation for the Motivated. And we did like a video every week. And that ultimately turned into speakers reaching out, or, you know, everybody would, you know, kind of comment from time to time or whatever. But like one comment from a speaker just was kind of intriguing. They was just like, just link up. They was like, just link up. I didn't really know like how could we link up like as a speaker, you're a speaker, you know, but so I was like, send me a speech, edit the speech for you. And the speech was really good. And as I'm listening to it and editing, just building like a cinematic, like a kind of beat with it, instrumental sound score, you know, just kind of dabbling with some sounds to it. And it was like, okay, it would be really cool if there was another speaker up here. So from there, just reached out to a bunch of speakers and just began building relationships with speakers. And from that reaching out to that about that one track, trying to get people on that, it turned into an album of speakers from over 12 countries from here to Somalia. And one of the speakers on that album asked, what would it cost to have their own album produced? I was just kind of doing it because that just came about. I didn't have any plans on being in the speaking business any kind of way. But from just them asking and it just kind of turned into that. And, you know, fast forward, this is Motivator Music, you know, working with speakers to, you know, make speaking albums from the signature topic. That was a really long answer for the question. That
was perfect. That was awesome. Very good. You know, what I'm looking to do here, not everybody is going to be interested specifically on knowing how to do what you do, but what I like to do in the artistic element is extract the principles that we can all use in our personal and our professional life. The foundation of Your Strongest Hour is, as it started out as masterminding, facilitating, coaching, going through some exercises to stimulate us, help us grow personally and professionally. So what are maybe some foundational things that have, a lot of times I've had a difficult time extracting this out of myself. There's things that I do on a daily basis that ensures that I stay creative and innovative in my personal and professional life. What would you say, if there was 1, 2, 3 at the most, tips that you can give us that will ensure to keep us renewed, creative, innovative? What are some things that you do to make sure that that's always happening in your life?
I would say staying in motion is probably number one. Just getting in motion and staying in motion. You're not going to have it all figured out. When you get that idea, just, get what step one of the idea. Once you kind of figure out, you're going to figure out step 10 as you're doing step 1, and you're going to get better and better along the way. You know, I just feel like a lot of times people just sit on an idea or something before everything's perfect, but you got to just get in motion and stay in motion and stay active. The second one.
Hold on. That's a good one. I'm glad you got more, but I'm going to put everybody to work a little bit. Okay. So where in your life do you believe that you practice this, implement this? Actually, when you said this, Chawn, it reminded me back in the day when I started doing personal training at the age of 17. The age of 19, within 4 years, I launched my own company. And I'm known for keeping people until to this day as a way to inspire. I keep people moving. So it reminded me of that, stay in motion. There's a quote, something like that. I can't remember what it is. Another reason why I love this principle of staying in motion. I remember when I was doing personal training, I would train 4 or 5 people in a session. And one of my motivators to keep my clients moving is because I didn't want to hear them complaining about anything. So I just kept
right.
I just kept torturing them. I don't want to hear you just moving your body. I don't want to listen to you. So, all right. So in the chat box, specifically where in your life or your business, drop in, how do you stay in action? Where do you keep moving? That's a really good one, Chawn. So I'm going to spend about 30 seconds here for us to do the work. And in fact, I'm going to invite one person to share. Our group is small enough right now, so when it's smaller like this, I can be a little bit more intimate and bring up more people to speak. Who would like to share where in their life they stay in motion specifically? They're focused on that, and it's produced some really great outcomes for you. All right.
Well, Laura's actually on the road, and it might be good for me to share since I'm pulling over. So for me, like grounding and, alignment between mind, body, spirit. By grounding, I mean walking, when you talk about movement, and recently I invested in a Peloton bike. So I'm really getting a lot of movement with that. But grounding, moving, being in nature, which helps me align mind, body, and spirit. And then the creativity is really the spirit energy that starts flowing, right? So that's how I integrate. It has to constantly be checked in with, meditation and physical activity and mental activity. So, and
nice.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
I'll go on mute. Back on mute again.
You're good. Be safe out there. Thank you so much for sharing. Chawn, your second tip, sir.
Second tip is just building the right habits, building habits of the successful people in what you do. If you don't know yet, I didn't really have anybody to study as far as who has worked with speakers and made speaking tracks. So I just worked on the basics of what habits work, just building and creating content, or just practicing editing, or just different, taking myself through ninja school on multimedia producer, what would that look like for an editor, or what would that look like for what you do? Just maybe the top habit, and just even if you're only good at the top habit of the best person in your or best company in your industry, that's good enough. So just kind of go from there. Whatever their maybe number 3 habit is, get real good at the number 3, and then that'll get you to where you need to be, at least in the game, or to kind of get there and build partnerships, stuff like that. But
Sure.
The habits is number 2.
So, Chawn, you remind me of when some people mention something about habit, I think of the 10,000 hours that we.
Oh yeah.
10,000 hour mastery. Have you guys heard of that? You spend 10,000 hours in an area, boom, you're a master.
What they say?
Maybe.
Yeah, the Malcolm Gladwell book.
Yes, it's very good, Thea. Thank you. So where would you say you've got 10,000 hours in doing what?
Filming, editing, every portion of the production, film, editing, writing, talking, just improv, everything. Okay, so you could have a best plan in the world, but I promise you, a lot of times it's not going to happen like that. I've learned that from writing scripts, or even concepts, overviews of what we're going to accomplish. Even going back to starting, I started with music videos. You can go there with your plan, but the artists that you just don't know like the kind of person it is going to be until like like it's just a whole lot. But just plan that everything's going to go wrong, just being able to adapt. No, you know what? I changed my number 2. That's number 3. I would say habits. It's just adapt. Number 2 is adapt.
Okay.
Number 2 is adapt. You got to adapt on the fly. You got to be able to adapt.
Adapt on the fly. I hope I
To the
spelled
new
that right.
situation, because it's going to change once it starts most of the time.
Very good. I like that. I also noticed that you said something that I've been paying more attention to is I'm being more particular about my decision making. So before I decide on things, I've been asking myself, what could go wrong? I heard you say that. You just kind of blurbed out a little bit real quick. So what could go wrong? So that means you get to be a little more strategic, 2, 3, or 4 steps ahead of the game. Obviously, nothing beats experience, but if you're learning from a mentor or a coach, that can really shortcut and help you get there a lot quicker. Do you do any mentoring and coaching yourself, or are you primarily focusing on servicing the existing clients you have?
Definitely want to focus on the production and just the day-to-day handling, little fires that come up, just keeping communication fresh with the existing clients and, prospecting clients. I could offer coaching, but that's going to be a whole nother kind of thing. And I'm already a one-man band for the most part. I have people that help with the production and marketing, but it may be down the line when maybe next year. maybe next year.
Just wondering. Sorry, let's put Chawn's tips in practice in the chat box. What habits are really paying off for you? And I'm talking about something that is significant. Like you've put in some time in this area and you're feeling and felt the compound effect of that habit.
Creative.
Right. Yeah, and be more specific and sharing in the chat box. What have you been creating?
Share it in the chat box first.
For everybody else.
Just whether it's just something, just getting to the next step. Like whether a lot of times I'm going outside. I'm always want to get some kind of piece of content. Like no matter what I'm doing, I want to put myself in some kind of position to be able to create something. It may be something I use next year. It may be something I use in 3 months, but you take this, you put it with that, and you build your archive, then everything is going to be swell for you. So what I write here is build your archive. Just always working on building.
Right. So everybody in the room, please drop in the chat box what you're creating. One habit that's really worked for you. Drop it in the chat box, please, now. And I'm also dropped a book.
A habit for what?
Any habit that's working for you. Chawn has stated that develop habits that stimulate creativity. So obviously the theme is around creativity. What do you do? What have you done consistently for a very long time that has induced creativity in your life? So Alyssa earlier mentioned that she scripts all the time. Nice. And that helps her be creative. I'll be honest with you, working out is probably one of the best ways that my creativity come out when I'm exercising. Exercise is a form of meditation. Yeah. Most recently, a habit that I've been developing is ice baths. I can sit still, and some of the most creative ideas and solutions to problems in my life occur during an ice bath. And that's become a habit that what I do on a daily basis. Obviously, there's Chawn, you probably know this person. I think he has the most golden records out there. His name is, I think, David something. Do you remember his last? You know what I'm talking about?
David Gattea?
I think so. They ask him, how are you so creative? How do you come up with them? Have you had so many golden albums or platinums out there? He says, I create every day and push it under the door, I guess, as he used that as an analogy, and just, he doesn't wait for inspiration. He just does the work every day. Yeah. Cranks out like 1,000 a year or something like that. So
Nice.
he's putting a lot of volume, and he's gotten 10 golden records out there is because he's pushed out 1,000, so, or 10,000 or whatever it may be. I think there's a lot of truth to the volume that we put out there and continuously refining. So I'm going to take a look at the chat box here. I hear some that have been dropped. So I hear morning meditation. Angelina, thank you so much. Renita, scripting, talking, and connecting with anyone I am next to. Taya, I've been working on my paintings lately. Clearing my head, eliminating all distractions helps me focus and not starting over when it's not looking how I want, but pushing through. Love it. Thank you, Taya. Excuse me, Selena, honestly having a time where I log off. I need the time away from the computer so I can create headspace for more than just doing. Selena, you take time off? I thought you were like a robot 24/7.
Not quite 24/7. I've been trying to actually like see my husband occasionally. It's wild, I know.
Thanks for the reminder there. Ask Asta. Persistence, remembering the wins. I love that. During challenging times to keep moving forward to even more wins. Thank you, Asta. This is a challenge for me. I've been trying to do a PM journal specifically only on wins, 10 wins at night. The love of my life is actually Beth Jones here. She's in the room and she's encouraged me to do my wins when I'm a little crying, whiny little bitch. Excuse my French, guys. So yes, count your blessings and count your wins at night, especially. Alyssa, making space for creative outlet, even if it's only 30 minutes, but I still make time for creative activities. Otherwise, I'll go weeks with my nose in my work. Okay, very cool. So for me, to be honest with you, this is probably the most creative experience my entire life every week. Meeting with existing people that I know and new folks. I never know what's going to happen in these sessions. I have an idea. We have a structure. We follow it. It's fun. But I never know where it's going to go. And I get to be creative off the cuff. And that's why I like to throw everybody curveballs. Really great info. Are you guys getting a lot out of this? Or is it just me? Yes? Nod your head? Yes? All right, Laurie, do not nod your head. You're going to look really weird driving down the road with your head bobbing up and down.
The good news is I'm not driving anymore.
Okay, thank you. I think Taya's cat was bobbing her head even. Very cool. So that's a great one. So that was the second one, habit. And the third one, Chawn suggested, is adopt on the, did I spell it adopt properly? On the fly. Adapt, excuse me, on the fly. So who would like to share an example of how you've recently have pivoted or adapted to a crisis? Don't make me just pick somebody. All right, Angelina.
I would say one way that I've adapted to crisis is to allow myself to feel the feelings of grief and sadness that I'm experiencing. And then to have acceptance for the reality that is now. And then forgive myself and other people. And then just affirm myself that everything is happening for a reason and everything is always working out for me. And that everything is always on its divine timing and I'm in the right place at the right time. Now, this doesn't happen all in 1 hour. It happens over a week's period of time. So yeah, that's how I've been adapting.
Angelina, that is deep. Thank you, girl. I feel like Chawn wanted to say something with that. Any questions, Chawn, you'd like to ask the room?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say I know that this is going to be everybody's best year ever. 2021 is executing all year round. Let's go.
Amen, brother. Thank you. Thank you for the good vibes. I'm feeling it. All right. So how does somebody work with you, Chawn? Can you kind of maybe step by step give us a example of what it's like working with you?
Yep. So it's a 3-step process. It just kind of starts with us planning out everything, me getting the understanding for, who you are and what you talk about, the message that you want to broadcast to the world and what you have broadcast so far, as well as what you already have in your archive that we maybe could, kind of remix, do some things with and build off of, because a lot of times you could have a YouTube course from like 2 years ago that could be like the core piece or the starting piece that we build your album around, just kind of filling in some blanks here and there with some fresh voiceovers. And if we need to record fresh voiceovers, we don't actually even need to record fresh voiceovers. We arrange a time to either get you to kind of sit down in front of your home in your home office, record something from your phone, or kind of fly out to Charlotte and Charlotte, North Carolina. Speakers come out all the time. We practice like all the CDC requirements and everything. Got 4K quality footage. Every time you come, if you come to the city, you get like more services because you're here. So just kind of just seeing if you would be willing to come to here, and we kind of start from there. But it's very easy. Like this started out just people sending in voiceovers. It may not sound like the best quality, but everything created, all of these cell phones we got is good enough. And after we do our job, me and our team, it's gonna sound really cool, depending on what you're going for. So it would be the first step, kind of planning out production and then the marketing. Bless you. And then deciding what platforms you want to focus on, like what's your goals, what do you want to see. So from there, we may want to build like a sales page to where you're giving like a free download to one of your speech tracks so you can kind of build some leads. Or if you just want to focus on marketing, we could do something different and kind of maybe focus on Spotify, trying to get you on as bunch of playlists as possible, so you can now leverage a couple thousand views that you've gotten on your message that you're trying to charge 10K for, maybe even up to 200,000 to speak for. If you can point to a couple thousand streams, you've already built the audience around that. On top of you having like the same general stuff all of the other speakers have, like a 1-sheeter, the demo reel, the basics, on top of that, you're going to get booked.
I love
You're going to position your brand for opportunities, like voiceover opportunities. I had a client on a Yokohama tire commercial, just all putting out speech music. So it's
I love it.
Bunch of good stuff happening.
All right. Guys, you're welcome to ask Chawn some questions, pick his brains, ask some really hard ones, put him in an awkward place. I'm just kidding. You can if you want. So this is awesome. Like, so you could do it remotely and we could do it in person. I like that. Do you help? So do you help with the copy, or if I wanted to learn how to, if I wanted to sing an album or do an album or sing a song, excuse me, could you help me with everything? Or
yes, I like to consider it as a done for you service. I have a client that paid for a speaking album, and the following month paid for like a marketing package to get that album out to the world, because he wants to focus. He's a speaker based in Malaysia, and he wants to focus on entering the U.S. market. So actually designed a sales page for him, just 1-page website, and we're going to actually focus on getting more leads within the United States and different organizations and companies that book speakers that maybe even have booked some Malaysian speakers, just looking at all the data. And because what's cool about the ads, when you run ads, is that you can track almost everything. And then if you combine what you get from like an ads campaign with the numbers that you get from like Spotify and the streaming websites, you know where you need to focus your energy and effort. So yeah, I can definitely create the ad copy, because I could create the ad copy. I could do everything. It's like just do everything.
Sounds like you could do the creative side, but you also have a business mind as well. So, and it's really important for your clients. Any questions in regards how it's done? I noticed. 1 second, Troy. I want to I want you to chime in here. I've noticed that the type of services that you provide, Chawn, used to be only for the like big television, and now it's for the small mom and pop individual speakers, coaches, trainers, influencers, leaders, and so forth. So has this become more feasible, obviously, and by how much is this? You know, can we get an idea what price range that looks like?
Yeah. So to get a speaking album, I like to consider this like a really like the best deal ever if you were to like do like the album package, because you're getting the audio and video content, lifetime marketing material, and as well as, you know, some of these a lot of speakers, especially the ones with like kind of like the big uh price tiers and everything, they're spending $10,000 for a video. There's people spending 10,000, 10K, 5K for a 3-minute video. There's a lot that goes into it. But, you know, say if for the album investment, it would be pretty much 5K. And with that, you're getting an 8-track speaking album as well as 4 videos in marketing and some distribution, well, the distribution and some marketing. The marketing, a lot of it, you have to do your own legwork, but I'll pretty much provide you with a plan and get you kind of started, you know, give you like a push. You know.
That's a great starter. That's a great starter. Very good. Thank you, Chawn. Troy, you had a question?
Yeah, I don't know if it relates to what you do exactly, but I had kind of a set of course. I had a course before, but it wasn't really done properly. It was more stuff that I was helping people on the fly, and so they weren't really properly made. Do you help people with courses as well? Like they had a YouTube course or a video course or a paid course that they had a series on, like whatever subject that you're teaching?
For sure, I can definitely help, you know, beef up your course, you know, give it a remix, maybe add some stuff, take some stuff away. And, you know, I would want to know more, of course, about the course, and maybe if you could send a link.
Yeah, my main thing would be understanding on the marketing end, because you know, as Fadi says, I'm kind of a LinkedIn expert, but as far as the overall arching marketing to get it out in the world, that's not that's not really my expertise there. And so understanding like the mechanics of, if you have this product and it's polished enough, you know, and then wanting to get this course out, say learning good habits on LinkedIn. I'm just making it up, right?
Yeah.
Something that has to do with running your business on LinkedIn and things to do specifically, and how to cram that into individual day, or even how to create a business and distribute this work for that work, and how do all the SOP type stuff. How would you tend to market that? You know, is there a magic formula, or it's just whatever makes sense at that time?
I wouldn't say there's a magic formula, but there's the basics that work, you know, just having a solid organic strategy and maybe even somewhat of a small paid strategy. Organic works a ton, I promise you. Just once you identify who the course is for and come up with that avatar, and how can we cater literally all your marketing towards that one, you know, customer avatar. What are their activities online? Instagram is really, really great right now at, you know, kind
So
of.
there's a consulting portion, which you're talking about strategy, consulting, and then there's what money it costs to actually do the paid advertising, right?
Correct.
So is there like an average range of costs for this and a cost for that, or am I getting too detailed?
It's a little detailed, but I want to know more. But say it all depends on your budget, and if you're a lot of times people don't want to pay somebody and then have to pay for the ads too. Like if you're trying to do like a paid strategy,
yeah.
The organic, there's a bunch of organic and kind of grassroots things that are proven to work, and that, you know, I'll be able to help with and get emotion on across all of these platforms. We kind of identify which platform we want to focus on. I use LinkedIn and Instagram a lot, and just kind of I plant seeds across, you know, everywhere, you know, for the harvest. I call it digital real estate. But you have to kind of have maybe 1 or 2 platforms that are going to be the ones that you're going to rock with.
Troy, I dropped his links again in the chat box there. Guys, follow him on social media. He's got almost 10,000 followers on Instagram. I'm checking it out right now. That's pretty awesome, Chawn. Great content, great engagement. This looks awesome, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions for Chawn? All right. Very good. Well, we're coming to the top of the hour, and this has been really awesome. Anybody else like to share anything before we got a few extra minutes? No, quiet crowd today. Are we feeling a little shy? All right, very good. Okay. All right, everybody, thank you so much. That's going to conclude our interview today with Chawn Bracey. Come join us next week for the spiritual element. We have a special treat for you. Taya is going to send that information out via email. Hope you can join us. Bring your friends with you. And remember, this is a free program, so to speak. All proceeds go to, if you want to donate, all proceeds go to Shelter the Soldier and the Millionaire Hero Club. If you want more information about that, I'm personally happy to share with you about those two items. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Chawn, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Love you all. Be strong.